We're going to start out. I was seeing on ESPN they're doing a list of the 100 greatest basketball players of all time. They've just gotten up to, I believe, 80 through 71 is what I saw, so they're going down. But the conversation we're going to have right now is why Michael Jordan is not, I repeat, is not the best player of all time. I know that's pretty controversial. Some people, it's become basically taboo with most people to say that Michael Jordan isn't the best player of all time, but I don't think he is, and I'm going to tell you why I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the best player of all time. Now, when you get down to discussing who is the best and who's not the best and trying to figure out greatness and all that stuff, you got to look at certain things, obviously. Championships is one, individual awards such as MVP is another, all NBA teams, but you also have to look at other things such as the manner in which championships were won, especially in this case when you're discussing Michael Jordan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because they both have won 6 titles. Some people may not know that about Kareem. He won 6 titles, and we'll start right there with the championships. Actually, you know what? We'll come back to the championships later. We'll start with everything else. Both of these guys have won MVP awards. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has actually won one more MVP award than Michael Jordan has. I don't have the exact number here. I believe it's 6-5 in favor of MVP awards for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as compared to Michael Jordan. I've been trying to look it up, but I just haven't been able to find it as of yet. I did know it at one point because I had done an article about this, but I don't have it right in front of me as of right now. It's either 6-5 or 5-4. I believe it's 6 MVPs for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and 5 MVPs for Michael Jordan. When you look at the MVP award, that's one of the biggest awards. Obviously, it's the biggest individual award a player can win in basketball, but the MVP in the NBA is often regarded as probably the biggest award anyone could get as is. In football, there are a ton of guys who win the MVP who just don't even come close to the merit of greatness. There's no guy who has ever won the MVP award in the NBA who has not gone on to make the Hall of Fame. There are plenty of guys, such as in the NFL, who do not do so. Major League Baseball as well. I mean, Mo Vaughn won an MVP in Major League Baseball. This guy is not going to be in the Hall of Fame. He was a very good player, but he's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Dustin Pedroia, another guy. I mean, there's the 2 Red Sox right there. I'm trying to think of anyone. I mean, I know Jim Rice. It took him forever. I'm just naming all Red Sox here. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head. I mean, Andrew McCutchen there, the guy who plays for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, can Andrew McCutchen make the Hall of Fame someday? Certainly. But you wouldn't look at Andrew McCutchen as of right now and be like, well, he's a Hall of Famer. So there's that. When you look at the NFL, you have Sean Alexander, who won the MVP when he played for the Seattle Seahawks. Really had one good season. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He had a solid career, but he had that one out of this world season that got him the MVP. He's not going to make the Hall of Fame. You know, you do have a lot of guys who do win it, like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's won a bunch. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Adrian Peterson, another guy, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. But you look at a Sean Alexander, not going to be a Hall of Famer. So let's check this right now. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, we got it up. Now this is Wikipedia I'm using, but I do trust Wikipedia for things like this. Yes, he's a 6-time most valuable player in the NBA. Michael Jordan, I'm getting up right now, I believe was only a 5-time. Yep, Michael Jordan only 5 times. So you look, they're all even in championships. Yet Kareem has the one more MVP. Michael Jordan, 10-time All NBA First Team. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 10-time All NBA First Team. Abdul-Jabbar, 5-time All NBA Second Team. Jordan, only an All Second Team performer once. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar may not have that many third teams because the third team didn't come in till later on. Yeah, he doesn't have any third teams, but you got Jordan, who's only a 10-time or an 11-time total All-NBA performer. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a 15-time All-NBA performer. I mean, You're looking based off just those things right there, all equal in championships, one more MVP, four more All NBA awards. Now, does that shed some light on why Kareem may be better? Do people ever bother to think about it, or just put any thought into it, or do they just want to listen and say, "Oh no, Michael Jordan's the best ever"? Now, Kareem was only a two-time NBA Finals MVP winner. Michael Jordan won it all every time he won a championship. He won the Finals MVP. So Jordan has that there. The Finals MVP is a big-time award. I'm not taking anything away from that. Michael Jordan does have a Defensive Player of the Year award, which Kareem Abdul-Jabbar does not have. They both have the Rookie of the Year, however. Abdul-Jabbar only a two-time scoring champ. Michael Jordan was a 10-time scoring champ. So yeah, you see the numbers there. You can give some to Jordan, some to Kareem. But again, these aren't really necessarily awards. These are scoring. And you got to look at the NBA in that situation. Which league was better, in the 90s or in the 80s? You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, while he was only a two-time scoring champion, holds the most points overall of anyone in the NBA. Michael Jordan now did take 2 years off when he played basketball, or when he left basketball to play baseball, so that skews the numbers a bit. Does have over 30,000 points, Jordan, that is, but still, you look at the numbers between these two guys, the individual awards, and it's certainly right up in the air. So with the one MVP, you're really the one additional MVP for Kareem, the additional four-time additional All-NBA performances, you really got to be leaning towards Kareem, or at least at most for Jordan, it's a split between those guys, just going off the individual awards and things like that. Which brings us to championships, where they both have 6. Okay, now you do have to factor in which championships, the Finals MVP, which Jordan has 4 more of. That's really about the only spot where Jordan has the advantage when it comes to championships. People, I hear Stephen A. Smith. For those of you who don't know who Stephen A. Smith is, he is the guy on ESPN First Take. He is certainly one of the people who believes Jordan is the best ever. He's always making the case, well, Michael Jordan won every final series he played in, went 6 for 6 in his finals, and won all 6 finals MVP awards, which to me is really circular reasoning at its best. Because yes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did lose finals. Okay, he lost finals. We're not going to deny that. However, teams that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lost finals to were teams that beat Michael Jordan on the way to the finals. So that's why it's circular reasoning. You can't punish Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for losing to a team in the finals that Michael Jordan lost to in the first round. It's not, Kareem's fault or issue that these teams were in the Eastern Conference when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing in the Western Conference. There's nothing he can do about it. He has to play these guys when he has the chance, and in that case, it was the finals. Detroit Pistons in, 88-89, beat Michael Jordan on their way to beating Kareem and the Lakers in the finals. And Kareem beat those teams. He beat those Pistons teams. His Lakers teams beat those Pistons teams back in 1987. The Celtics in 1985 beat the Bulls on the way to the finals. The 76ers teams never played. The 76ers teams of the early 80s never played Michael Jordan. He didn't come into the league in 84. But these teams in 84, when Kareem and the Lakers lost to the Celtics, they had beaten the Bulls on the way to the finals. So that was only Michael Jordan's rookie year, but you still get the sense there. You still see what's going on. The championships have to be in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's favor, and when I'm saying championships, we're measuring the quality of the championships. And let's just narrow it down to this. We're putting in a lot of things and different variables into this discussion about championships. Let's just put it this way. Let's look at the best team that Michael Jordan ever beat in the NBA Finals. We're probably going with the back-to-back Utah Jazz teams in 96, 97, 97, 98, Michael Jordan's last 2 titles. Now, would those Jazz teams beat the Detroit Pistons teams of the late 80s, which Kareem Abdul-Jabbar beat in his championships? No. Well, they've beaten the Boston Celtics teams of the mid-'80s that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar beat and lost to. Same with the Pistons in a finals or a series. No. Would they have beaten those 76ers teams of the early 80s that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar beat and also lost to? No. And people forget Kareem Abdul-Jabbar also won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks in the early 70s, so he's won championships in two different places. Those Washington, they were the Bullets at that time. I don't know if I just said Wizards, I can't remember. But at those times, they were the Washington Bullets. They had Hall of Famers like Elvin Hayes and Wes Unseld. Those teams probably, I mean, it's tough to compare 70s to 90s, but those teams probably would have beaten those Utah Jazz teams of the late 90s. So I am sorry, I got to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's championships in favor or over Michael Jordan in that sense. And that's why I just wish people, when it comes down to it, would look at it and actually think and look and dissect the numbers and dissect the awards and dissect the championships won. And when you look at it, I don't think you can really stand up to saying Michael Jordan is better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, I'll hear the argument. I'm not going to say that you're totally off base to say Michael Jordan's the best. But to me, Michael Jordan was made by hype. He was made, the Air Jordan, all that. I'm actually wearing a pair of Air Jordans as I do this, so I don't dislike Michael Jordan, and certainly a lot of that has to do with it. What makes Jordan great is all these things. Now, he does have the Defensive Player of the Year that Kareem doesn't have, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, while Jordan was only a 9-time All-NBA Defensive First Team, Kareem was a 5-time All-Defensive First Team, but a 6-time All-Defensive Second Team. So 11-time total, where Jordan is only 9. All the first teams is what he won. So it's not that Kareem doesn't have some defensive credentials to go with it. Was also a 4-time blocks leader. So just something people need to, keep in mind when you're discussing this is look at it. Don't just be like, oh, well, Michael Jordan's the best because that's what everyone says, so it's got to be Michael Jordan. No. Make sure you look at the numbers, look at the facts, and dissect the championships and move on from there. All right, so we're going to take a little break. Going to come back, talk about NBA All-Star Game voting, actually, before we get into the championship game picks. We'll do those last, but be sure to stay tuned, and we will be back with you in just a couple minutes. Thank you.